Dodge is sitting in the waiting room with thoughts running through his head when the receptionist calls out his name, stating her boss is ready to see him and asking him to follow her. Miles welcomes Dodge with a warm smile and invites him into his office. Miles compliments Dodge, saying he wishes he had a cool name like him. Dodge explains why he got his name, saying his dad used to be a car nut. Miles shares his family story and how his father also worked the line and came to America to chase his dreams. Miles and Dodge also bond over their football team. As they are mentioning the football team itself they own, Dodge mentions he had an authentic game-worn jersey, but he had to sell it. Miles mentions that he had a look at Dodge's medical file and that he feels sorry for his financial struggle and health complications. While they are talking, Dodge gets a severe headache. Miles asks him if it's part of his sickness, and Dodge tells him it usually clears away quickly as he takes his painkiller pills. Dodge then asks if he can borrow some cash that he can use to get some treatment to buy him more time and even see his son be born. Miles offers Dodge a drink before having a conversation about a possible loan. Seeing Dodge's pain, Miles encourages him not to give up for the sake of his family and his unborn child. Miles explains that the company he represents, T-Fund, deals with problems like this all the time. Dodge asked Miles if there was a way he could get a loan and even offered his building as collateral. Miles dismisses his offer by saying the building is not only unfunded and unfinished, but the loan is also questionable as Dodge might pass away at any moment before he can pay the money back. Miles continues telling Dodge that he has lost family members to cancer and sees how unforgiving it can be and tells him not to misjudge him because he refused his offer. Dodge assures him he understands his concern. Dodge asks him if there is still a way he can help him if it isn't through a loan. Miles tells him he will be able to help him, but it will require his participation. Miles reveals to him that he represents very exclusive and wealthy clients who are willing to pay huge amounts of fees for a unique, one-of-a-kind experience in the game of hunting. Dodge asks questions on how these hunts take place, and he is shocked to find out that they want to hunt him like an animal. It is a hunt to kill, entertainment for the elite. Seeing Dodge's reaction, Miles suggested that he should hear him out before running away, and he may be able to help his family in unimaginable ways. Dodge isn't sure about what he feels about what he just heard and tells Miles he will go to the police and report this. Miles then asks him how he will be able to prove anything that takes place and assures him no one will believe him. Dodge refuses the offer and tries to walk out, but as he heads out, Miles tells him he can leave his family millions of dollars. He says this is his chance to make sure his family is secure after he is gone. For further information about the hunt, he asks him to join him on the balcony. He then starts to explain how the hunting will go, about the hidden letters he found in the cabinet. He tells his wife to stop hiding the letters. She then tells him she only did that because she didn't want him to worry and reassures him that they're going to be okay. After that, he heads to companies to pitch his new project, full of hope. But unfortunately, he gets declined by a major company. Later that night, while Dodge and his wife are out celebrating their soon-to-be-born son, Dodge storms out with a certain worried look in his eyes. His friend follows him outside and asks him what the problem is. Dodge tells him he is worried that all he has to pass on is a mountain of debt. He invested everything he had in the Carrington. He also lost the money of those who invested in the building. They reminisce about Dodge's father's factory and the time they had there years back. Dodge's friend Luger reassures Dodge that things will be better and cheers him up. The next morning, Dodge does his regular activities like a morning run and cooking breakfast for his wife and heads to another company for the pitch. But on his way there, he gets an even more severe headache and falls in the middle of the street. Dodge is hospitalized and his wife rushes to his room, asking him what has happened. The doctors ask Dodge if he has been experiencing any headaches lately. He confirms that he has been experiencing severe headaches here and there, and they explain that they have discovered an aggressive tumor. It is malignant, and because of its location inoperable, he is told that he has many fewer days to live. As they leave the hospital, his wife suggests they try every option there is regarding his tumor, but Dodge tells her that they don't have the money for that, and that he has taken himself off the health insurance. While he is leaving the hospital, a male nurse is saddened by Dodge's situation and gives him a card, suggesting he should reach out to this company as they help sick people in trouble. Dodge tells Luger that he has weeks to live and breaks down in tears. Dodge sees the card that was given to him by the nurse and decides to go to the company. Dodge walks towards Miles and stands next to him on the balcony as Miles explains the method of conduct of the hunting. It's a 24-hour hunt. Every hour he survives, more money is bank-wired into his bank account, and that continues until the game ends. If he survives the day, he walks away rich. If not, he gets killed, but at least he will leave his family some money. Miles continues to explain the rules of the hunt. Once he commits to the hunt, he can't change his mind. There will be no timeouts and no do-overs. The next rule is that the game takes place only in Detroit. So if he leaves the city, that's a violation, and then the game never ends. It continues until he is killed. Reporting to the police and getting himself arrested is a violation. If he tells anyone what's going on, he will be violating the rules. It will be just the 5 hunters and him. He is not allowed to carry any ID, cash, or help. As for the payment, at the top of the first hour, $1,000 is wired to his bank from an offshore untraceable account. The next hour, $100,000 deposits increase every hour until hour 20, which pays $1 million, and that increases by $1 million every hour after that. In the final hour, he will be paid $5 million for a total of $24.5 million. Miles also mentions that no gun is allowed. He is given a cell phone that can only call Miles. Every time he makes it through another hour, the money is deposited and his phone chimes twice, giving up his exact location for the next 15 seconds. After that, he is dark again. They will be following him to make sure he doesn't drop it on a bus and take off, because that's a violation. Miles then presents cash to prove that he is serious about the offer. Dodge refuses to take the money, but Miles gives him his number just in case he has a change of mind. After presenting his pitch to a company, Dodge gets refused again and his dreams are shattered, not to mention his terminal illness. He tries to make the investor understand his situation, but the investor tells him he will eventually figure it out and walks away. Desperately, Dodge goes to Luger to consult him. Luger tells him to keep fighting for his son on the way. When he gets home, he tells her an offer was made to him from one of the construction companies he pitched to. He informs her that they will have money coming in and they will use it for the most aggressive drugs out there and experimental surgeries. Whatever it takes to keep him alive. He promises her he will not give up and that he will fight for all 3 of them. During the morning, he wakes up early and calls Miles to tell him that he has accepted his offer. When his wife asks him where he is going, he tells her he is going for a run and to go back to sleep. He walks into a diner where Miles waits for him. He informs him that he has less time as the game is from sunrise to sunrise and daybreak is at 6:46. He then tells him to empty his pocket and leave his belongings, including his phone. Dodge feels hesitant about the whole situation, but Miles reminds him that his family will become homeless in a matter of months if he doesn't get the money. Miles tells Dodge to leave his fear behind and consider the money he'll leave behind. After Dodge hands over his belongings, Miles gives him his painkillers, strips searches him, and wires $50,000 into his account. He hands Dodge a phone with only 2 apps, one for calling Miles and another to track hourly payments if he survives. The first payment is shown for the first hour. His wife wakes up and sees the crib has been set. She cheerfully reads the note he has left, not knowing where he is. Miles gives him a set of tips that will be able to help him out. He tells him crowds are his friend because hunters don't want to kill him too publicly in order not to get recognized and charged for the crimes. He also tells him not to trust anyone and to keep moving no matter what. Next, he reveals the most shocking fact, saying all 5 of the hunters are in the diner waiting for the right time. The hunt begins as the phone beeps and Miles tells him he has a 3-minute head start, so he can pick up different faces from the diner. But the hunters might have escaped into the back for all they know. Dodge then runs away from the diner paranoid. He starts running and gets inside a bus. Even though he didn't have any money, he convinced the driver that he takes this bus every day and that he left his wallet today. As the bus is about to leave, a man stops the bus and gets on it. The man sits beside Dodge, but Dodge has already started feeling paranoid and suspicious of the guy, so he stops the bus immediately and runs away. His wife is at the house when she sees a deposit of $50,000 in their bank. She calls Dodge to let him know. On the other hand, Miles is on the phone with a person who follows Dodge and reports back to him. Miles traces Dodge's location and assesses every move he makes. Dodge walks on the street with caution as he doesn't know what will happen in the next minute and who will attack him. He notices a car is following his movements and tries to run away from it, as several gunshots are fired in his direction. After escaping the car, Dodge remembers Miles's advice and decides to go to a public place with a lot of people. He then goes to the elevator with a woman holding a baby and doesn't seem too bothered about it, when suddenly a man in a blue suit stops the elevator and gets inside. Dodge suspiciously examines the man and picks up a weapon he can attack him with. The elevator finally stops and the man gets out. Dodge lands on a different floor, but he hears footsteps from the back and sees the man in the blue suit carrying a weapon. The man starts running towards him and Dodge starts running too. Dodge runs through the stairs and eventually ends up in a confined place. He finds a bathroom and decides to hide in the place. The man gets to the bathroom and starts checking the bathrooms calmly. The man seems very strange because of his need for perfection. The man calmly brushes his hair and knocks off the doors with his legs. He finds Dodge confined on the last toilet seat as he points out the pen he stole from the lady in the elevator to use as a weapon. The man approaches him with a certain lack of respect because he is such an easy target. Miles gets a call from the man in the blue suit, frustrated about the short hunt and demanding a refund. After the call, Dodge hits him with a door and escapes. The man, excited that the hunt isn't over, chases after him. Miles learns from his operators that Dodge is still alive. Meanwhile, Dodge's wife hears a voicemail rejecting his project and offering him a job. Confused, she receives a notification of another $50,000 deposited into their account. Dodge blends into a crowd as his wife calls, demanding to know the source of the hourly deposits. As he tries to leave the building, a man with a knife grabs him from behind, urging him to walk quietly. Dodge's wife calls Luger and tells him what's happening. She tells him about the hourly deposit that Dodge claims to come from the deal with the company, but she learned that the deal didn't exist in the first place. His wife is worried about the situation because she can't get in touch with him. The man holding a knife leads Dodge to the escalator. The man in the blue suit runs towards them and sees they're heading up using the escalator, so he dismantles the elevator. Using this as a distraction, Dodge pushes the man down the escalator and escapes. The man in the blue suit follows Dodge as he escapes. The man who follows Dodge on Miles's order reports back saying Dodge has escaped from the two hunters and might, after all, have the potential to be a good hunt. Dodge falls into a confined spot after hitting the bike with the man in the blue suit closing in. A nearby officer approaches, but the man calmly says Dodge is just rushing to his wife's ultrasound, holding up the scan that fell from Dodge's pocket. Miles lets Dodge keep the ultrasound as a reminder of his purpose. The man tells the officer Dodge is rushing to the hospital for his wife's gender reveal. Dodge grabs the ultrasound and escapes on a bike. While biking away, Dodge is attacked by the second hunter who pulls a knife, but gets caught on the pedal as Dodge escapes. At the train station, Dodge sees the man in the blue suit chasing him. As he boards, the man throws a knife, but it sticks in the train window. On the train, Dodge feels safer among the crowd. The two hunters meet and the second accuses the first, the man in the blue suit, of breaking the rules. The first insists he only had Dodge trapped, not actively hunted. Dodge gets into a church to escape from all the things that are going on. He gets inside the confession booth. He starts telling the priest about the troubles he is facing. Dodge's wife and Luger visit the bank about large deposits, but are told the funds come from an untraceable offshore account. To avoid suspicion, they claim it's an inheritance from an uncle. Dodge continues confessing about his troubles. When the priest asks him what exactly he is doing, Dodge doesn't answer, saying he won't believe it even if he tells him. The priest tells him he is forbidden from breaching the confidentiality of confession. Dodge sees a footstep approaching the chamber and attacks the person from the shadows. The priest comes up to him and stops him from attacking the man. The priest demanded to know why he was acting in such a manner in the church and continuously worried about people killing him. Dodge's wife and Luger report to the police, and they give information that might help find Dodge. The police ask if he is involved in illegal actions, and his wife denies that Dodge can be part of something like this. With a minute left before he's tracked, Dodge tries to flee, but the priest stops him, claiming he'll protect him. When the phone beeps, Dodge says they found him, only for the priest to drop the axe, reveal he already knew, and show his phone. Just like that, the priest turns out to be a cold-blooded killer. Dodge tries to open the gates, but the priest tells him they're wrought iron and locked. Miles, believing Dodge is trapped, calls for a cleanup. The priest reveals he's a psychologist who used Dodge's past to predict his move and disguised himself to gain trust. They fight, but Dodge escapes after the priest is caught in the door. Dodge runs away and steals some money from the church. Dodge sees the black car that is following him around and bursts the tire. Miles is amazed. Miles then receives a call from Dodge. He requests a timeout because he is injured. Miles tells him there's nothing he can do. Dodge has no choice but to treat himself and keep running. As he tries to run away, Dodge's legs give up and he ends up on the floor. Dodge gets to a football game and disguises himself wearing a jersey so the hunters can't tell him apart. The first hunter is unable to locate him because everyone is dressed the same. He finally sees him while he is fighting with a salesman about the jersey he stole. When Dodge sees that, he runs to a parking lot and gets in the trunk of a car. What Dodge doesn't realize is the car is going to another city while the game only takes place in Detroit. Dodge makes a noise from the trunk and the family in the car stops to check what it is. They are shocked to see that there is a person inside and try to call the police, but Dodge fights them off, snatches their phone, and breaks it. Dodge runs away, steals a cab, and heads to his house. He sees his wife worried, and just as he tries to get inside, a motorbike approaches and tries to kill him. His wife opens the door and watches him leave in a rush. Dodge runs away, drawing the man away. The man on the motorbike slips inside the cab and tries to strangle him. Dodge gets out of the cab and sees that it is the priest from the church. He kills him instantly when he threatens to kill his wife. Dodge's wife finds Miles's office using his card while Miles learns Dodge killed a hunter. Dodge steals a ticket, boards a tour ship, and loses the second hunter in the crowd. On board, a friendly waitress reveals she's a hunter, and they fight. He escapes her and tries to leave the boat, fearing being trapped if it sails away. He pushes her into the river, runs to a playground, and meets Luger, who helps him flee. When a hunter follows them, Dodge jumps from the car and tells Luger not to come after him. Dodge is caught by local drug dealers and warns them danger is coming. Minutes later, a gunshot hits the house, killing the dealers. As Dodge looks for a way out, one dealer kills the fifth hunter, Dodge's old pursuer. Miles's worker arrives and cleans up the scene. After escaping the first hunter, Dodge goes to a hospital and learns his painkillers are fake and his records don't exist. Realizing he's been conned and isn't sick, he calls Miles to confront him about the setup. Miles tells him it is the only way to get him to do the hunt. He tells him that his friend Luger sold him out and is looking after his wife right now. Dodge calls his wife to warn her about Luger and tells her to meet him somewhere. When they get there, his wife is kidnapped by Miles's people. They give Dodge a message from Miles: "Finish what you started." Dodge goes to his father's old factory and sets up a trap for all the hunters. After he's done, he signals them to get inside. When they get there, he takes them out one by one. He gets the hand of the second hunter cut. Luger comes to help him and proves to him that he didn't set him up by killing the hunter who posed as a waitress on the ship. Miles just said that to keep him paranoid. Finally, Dodge burns the place with the hunters inside and escapes to end the game. He threatens Miles's worker and gets the address of where they're keeping his wife, at Carrington. The first hunter appears to be alive and starts chasing him. Just as he was about to kill him, the sun rises and the hunter tells him the hunt is over and leaves. He is finally reunited with his wife and receives a call from Miles congratulating him as Miles moves on to the next target prey.